Can I swear off Amityville movies now? To debunk the Amityville house's infamous reputation and take advantage of a rock-bottom asking price, skeptical journalist John Baxter buys the place and settles in to write his first novel. But as soon as the ink on the deed has dried, people who have come into contact with John and the house begin to meet with shocking fates. Is it all a coincidence, or is the house really the gateway to hell? Initially, I was going to review every Amityville movie that I could get my hands on, but now I don't want to. A majority of these movies are actually TV movies, direct to DVD. The likelihood is I'll probably never be able to find them, and I don't really care to, because this was actually a theatrical release and it was garbage. So for the most part, I'm going to be skipping out on watching all the Amityville movies, and I'm only going to watch 3 more. The Amityville Horror Remake that they made in 2005, the Amityville Awakening, and the Amityville Murders. But first, let's finish off this trilogy. First off is the people category, and just like everything else in this movie, it's terrible. I can't really say it has better or worse acting than the other movies in the series, because they're all pretty bad in general. What I can say is none of the characters are really that memorable. They all are pretty interchangeable, especially when it comes down to how memorable or forgettable they really are, how much of an important role they play. They are not diverse, they are not colorful, they do not have skill sets, they're just blah. All of them, blah. The only thing I can say about this category is it was pretty interesting to see Meg Ryan in probably her first performance ever in a film. That and Lori Loughlin. The people category gets 6 out of 20 possible stars, that's 30%. The writing category is even worse. I could try to tell you what this movie is about, but I would be struggling because it doesn't really feel like it's about anything. It starts off feeling like it might have a strong story because it has these paranormal debunkers. And I've seen movies with paranormal debunkers that were actually done very, very well, but that's only really seen in the first scene of the film, and the rest is just... It's all over the place, it's not really about anything, it's just blah, 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 blah. And at this point, it doesn't really feel original. I don't care how much you put 3D things in it, it doesn't feel like it's fresh anymore. And obviously, there's nothing deep or meaningful about it, so 2 out of 10 possible stars, 20%. There's only one thing that I could talk about with behind the scenes, and that's the visuals. Anytime visuals has something to do with the plot, it's bad. It's in your face bad. You basically see a bunch of things dangling on a string. I'm not even kidding. There's visual effects in the movie. I don't even know where to start with the visual effects in the movie because those are just so bad. So bad. I guess everything else behind the scenes was pretty much average, but those visuals, man, those visuals are rough. Behind the scenes, 5 out of 10. If it weren't for the terrible obstacles, I'd say the narrative structure was absolutely perfect. There is an introduction to everybody. The inciting incident is when they ultimately buy the house. And even though the movie is over-convoluted and messy and all over the place, there is a culmination of everything before it for a climax, and it does calm down and return to a new sense of norm for the following action. However, because the movie's not really about anything at all, it doesn't seem to be any obstacles. No character is trying to do one or two things. It's just blah, blah, blah. I'm saying blah a lot in this review, and that's because this movie is blah. 8 out of 10 possible stars. Entertainment category. Yeah, you can give zeros to all of these subcategories. I will never rewatch this movie. I'll run to the hills if you suggest it. I am not going to buy it. I'm not going to own it. I'm not going to talk about it ever again. Does it feel like you could pause the movie at any point? Yes, it feels like you can pause it. You could stop it. You could burn it. You can return it. You can trash it. You can... 0 out of 10. As for the specialty category, what do you expect to see out of Amityville 3D? As an Amityville movie, how does it do? Terrible. While you can tell it's the Amityville house, you can only tell it's the house from a filming location perspective. The owners of this house no longer felt as if it needed those eye-looking windows anymore. At least not on the side that faces the road. So a lot of the movie faces only one side of the house, and the other side of the house has rectangular windows now. And you do see those a couple times in the movie. And when you see those rectangular windows, you're thinking, that's not right at all. It takes you right out of the movie if you're not already out. 0 out of 10. When it comes down to sequels, prequels, remakes, and whatever, was it a movie that you wanted to see, and does it add anything new? I think for the most part, people didn't even care to see a sequel to the first Amityville movie. I did because I wanted to see the murders. I wanted to see the DeFeo thing. I saw that with the second movie. I did not care to see the third movie. Does it add anything new? No, not at all. Like I said, the only thing new that it adds is the 3D angle, and for the most part, That 3D angle is mostly ignored. There are those moments in the movie, like I said, where people are like, look over there! And it's like, oh, I see what you're doing there. But as far as writing, as far as the story goes, story progression, nothing new is really there. So this also gets 0 out of 10 possible stars. But it's a horror movie. Is anything scary? No! I think any horror film needs something in it for the audience to connect to relate to, in order for them to care about what's happening. If they can care about what's happening on screen, then if something bad happens, they can be scared. I can't see anybody that would be so invested in the movie that they would be afraid. This is a boring movie, not a scary movie. 0 out of 10. Halfway decent. Did they make the movie that they intended to make from the get-go? What did they intend to make? If they intended to make a story that was engaging, they failed magnificently. But I can't tell you for sure if that's what they wanted to do. 5 out of 10. The specialty category gets 5 out of 40 possible stars. That's 12.5%. If we add up all those points, we get 26 out of 100 possible stars, 26%, which is absolutely horrible. Guys, if you have seen Amityville 3D, tell me what you thought about it in the comments down below, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, and until then, peace out.